Hi everybody, this is Julie Henson from Just Do Property. I'd like to welcome you to our live webinar this evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the directors of the Just Do Property website. We've been running Just Do Property for around about 10 years now, running with my husband Alec, and I'm delighted to have been able to put on this webinar this evening for you all, and it's a little bit different than property tonight. It's all about digital marketing. So I want to introduce Andy Phillips, who is a digital marketing expert. Hello, Andy. Hi.
Oh yeah.
I'm so glad you're there. So thanks so much for putting on this webinar tonight for us.
No problem. I'm really looking forward to this. It's sort of my pet subject, really, I think.
Well, you are an expert in this area, aren't you? So I'm delighted that you've been able to do it for us. And, you know, we've been chatting, haven't we, over the last sort of couple of weeks. And people have been asking so many questions, really, about how they can get their business, you know, their property business or whatever business actually online. You know, during this time of lockdown, it's become even more important, hasn't it? I think.
It's sort of gone a bit mental, you know. I think that a lot of people are actually using the internet and social media more than they've ever done before. I mean, just on a personal level, they're using the internet and social media more than they've ever done. And yeah. I think it's sort of started to gel with them that it's a really, really very good medium to engage. And I mean, they engage with their friends and stuff like that. But I think, you know, some of the people that have phoned us over the last sort of month and a half have been people who have suddenly realized that it's a really good engagement tool. It works really, really well. It's not that difficult to use. And why aren't they using it for their business? Why aren't they using it for, you know, the thing that's probably the most important thing to them, getting you know, like money coming into the house? Why aren't they using it for that?
I think a lot of the time it's a bit of overwhelm, isn't it? Because it is absolutely huge. It just seems massive, so people don't know where to start. I think that's probably one of the issues, really. Yeah,
and it's the sort of thing that we've talked about quite a lot, is this thing about overwhelm. And again, it's one of my biggest bugbears about this whole industry, because I don't see it as overwhelming. I don't see it as muddy in any way. When I work in my business, which I'll talk about in a little bit in a second, but when we talk in our business, when we're doing marketing meetings or whatever it is, we're working with clients or whatever we're doing, we're trying to find the fastest, easiest route to get a result. And
makes sense.
When I talk to clients that have come in to us to see if we can help them with their business, what they've come to us with is massively complex and convoluted ways of getting somewhere, and we just sort of go, well, you don't need that, you just need that, and go there.
And you just simplify the whole thing for them.
Try and simplify it. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated. So I hope that's what we're going to go through a little bit tonight. So let me tell you a little bit about me, because that's what we sort of have to do in webinars, as you know, get people to know us a little bit more. So my name's Andy Phillips. I run a digital marketing agency called Digital Cascade, and what we do there is we provide done-for-you services primarily, but we also provide things like one-to-one consultancy. We also do one-to-many training, those sort of things. And we thoroughly enjoy all of that stuff, because it's great to see people transform. You know, they're here somewhere and they want to be up here, and that's what we do. We help them get to where they want to be, and it's completely satisfying. It's one of the best things to see people succeed in something which has completely confused them over the years, and suddenly they just get this beautifully clear path to what they want to do, and you know, suddenly realizing it's not as difficult. But there has to be some sort of process to do that, and that's what we want to talk a little bit about tonight. I've also been a property investor since 2001. It's one of those things I sort of got into sort of by accident, but it was because I wanted to get, you know, decent pension down the line and all that sort of thing, and maybe earn some extra money along the way, and it was one of those processes that got me involved with a lot of property people. So I started working with some people that were doing some training, and they wanted to get their voice heard. They wanted to get out to a bigger audience and things like that, and we could help them with that. and eventually sort of got around to working with people like Simon Zucci and others like that. There's a lot of people in the property industry that you probably know names of that we've done, we've either worked with in the past or we're working with now. So we work with a lot with property people. It's a bit of a niche that we hit. But I've been a property professional for 30 odd years, maybe more than that now. I've been online for probably getting on for 19, 20 years doing online marketing with businesses. So
it's a great thing, isn't it, Andy? You understand property and you understand putting people online. So it's a fantastic mix, isn't it, really?
Yeah, one of the things I do is I work with Simon Zucci on Pin Community, and we do something like, I don't know, 4 or 5 lives into that every week. There's 3 specific ones, and there's always a couple of other ones we do. So we're always doing live events, straight into the Facebook page and things like that. So I talk to lots and lots of property people, and we've got lots of our clients that are into property, whether they're sort of brokers or letting agents or property sources and things like that. So there's lots of different things that are going on in that world. But as you can see, I mean, I do a lot of talking from front of the stage. I've really enjoyed that. Again, it's one of those things that was terrifying when I started, but after a while you sort of get used to it a little bit, and I really, really enjoy talking and sort of spreading a bit of knowledge around and just helping people out. That's bottom line. So that's a little bit about me. I just want to give you what people talk about us as a company and myself. So we work for property people. This is my property developer, Andrew, that we work with, and what Andrew said is Andy has taken care of all of our online marketing, including site creation, prospecting client, sales funnels, print ads, and the nurturing of our investor clients. He deals with all of our mail automation and broadcasting, writes copy for our sites and marketing pieces, as well as working on projects for the business. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend Andy and his team to any business that wants a focused marketing partner that over-delivers every time. Simon Zucci, author of Property Magic and the founder of Property Investors Network, says, I'm happy to endorse Andy and Digital Cascade. I've known and worked with Andy for many years and happy to tell you of the trust I hold in his marketing skills and insight. I've also worked with Andy on providing high-level marketing training through very successful online and live events. And we've done quite a few of these sort of online events, providing marketing information and training into property investors in the past. And we've done live events to quite a few. And he said that many of the people who attended our marketing training programs have gone on to market their own businesses very successfully. Andy is dedicated and always goes beyond the call of duty. It's very nice. I had to pay him for that.
Was it a $5?
A few more than that, maybe. But the point is that we work with a lot of these people within property, but we also work with new startup businesses or businesses that have been going for 2 or 3 years and just struggling to get to the next level. So Paula Franks, she's actually got a number of small businesses, says this is all about different training programs we've done over the time, the great content that actually makes sense. Loved working on my customer avatar. We will talk a lot about that tonight as well, which was totally eye-opening. And Alan, who came on one of our video marketing training programs, said, I love the way Andy makes something that initially sounds complicated very easy. I strongly recommend and endorse the material. This is one of my biggest things, is trying to make things as easy as possible. There's a lot of overwhelm out there, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Sindra said, I'm building my list and selling into them for the first time, and has made the process simple. And Roger, who's a recruitment specialist, said, now I get it. It took a while and a little work, but our leads, which we worked hard to get, are now converting well now. Thanks, Andy. And this was a company that was spending a lot of money on leads, but just not converting them, not nurturing them, not understanding their client base very well. And we just went in and we changed a few mindset things with there, and also put a few other bits of technology in, and they started converting those. And there's a lot of people out there that are spending money on leads to try and get leads in, and then converting. And there's some simple reasons for that, which I want to go through tonight. So this is my biggest bugbear. Things like information overload. If you look at what's out there at the moment, and again, everything I'm talking about comes from the experience that I have talking to, I guess, hundreds or even thousands of businesses over the years. Now, whether we've done work for them or we've just done some training to them or consultancy, every single one of them comes to me with this same issue. There's so much out there, so many tools, there's so many strategies, there's so many gurus, there's so many ways of doing things, there's so many products, there's so many services.
Yeah.
Where the hell do you start?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's and we've had the same conversation, me and you. You know, I'm here and I want to get here, and there's a million things in the way.
And that's how you can end up spending loads of money as well, isn't it? Because you think, well, I should go in this direction, this direction.
And it is quite sad because, you know, again, we've spoken to people who've got businesses and they've had businesses for probably 2, 3, 4 years. There may be 2 or 3 websites in. You know, the first one they got cost them, I know, £1,000 and didn't do the job. They got someone else, it cost them £2,000, didn't do a job. They finally went for spend some money on it and spent £5,000 on a website and putting stuff at the back end, and that didn't do the job. And they don't know where to go. We speak to a lot of people like that, and we sort of try and take them back to square one and try and start thinking about the different ways that, or the mindset that they're actually using. Because one thing I'm going to go through tonight is it is about mindset. A lot of the things that we do in marketing, I say it's 80% psychology and 20% technology. Technology is incredibly important to online digital marketing. We need to use the right tools. We need to use them in the right way. But a lot of this is about psychology. It's about not only how you think of your client and the psychology involved in that, and that's quite nuanced. And so we have to understand that, and we have to put that in place. But it's also this little muscle in your head. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And overthinking things or trying to think of other ways of doing things which you don't need to go down, roads you don't need to go down. And of course, we're sold so much stuff. Everything's the best thing since sliced bread. Everything's, if you haven't got this, you'll never get anywhere. You're told that all the time. And I understand why people say that, but you've got to analyze it and say, look, is it actually true? What do I actually need to get from where I am right now to where I want to be? What do I actually need to get? What do I actually need to put in place? How do I actually need to think? And, a lot of the training that I do is all about getting business owners to start thinking like marketers. And if you can do that, then you're 90% there. So we've got information overload. The other thing is this thing, technical overwhelm. Again, as I say, there's so many products out there. I mean, if you just want to use an autoresponder, build a list and put a form on a site and things like that, if you want to do something like that, there's probably 40 different products out there. Which one is the right one for you? Which one is the best one? Is it the most expensive one? Is it the cheapest one? Is it somewhere in the middle? So that's just one thing. If you take all the different things and all the different little tools that come out for social media, and if you haven't got this, you're not going to get the right amount of likes on your page. It's just overwhelming. It's bewildering. And what I say to my clients most of the time is disengage from the noise. Stop thinking about all of that stuff. All we need to do is to get a good product or service that is perfect for your ideal client, and then put eyeballs on it. That's it. If you've got a great service and it's targeted to exactly the right people, all you need to do is put eyeballs on it and you'll start selling that product. Now, there's other things. We need to nurture people. We need to get people to know, like, and trust us more. We need to engage more with people. But in reality, that's all it is. That's all marketing is. You've got to have the right product, and you've got to have the right people looking at that product. So a lot of the things that we do is really based around that sort of side of it. So this is going to be for you if you run a business and you should be doing more to market it. If you're confused or overwhelmed, and so just don't do it. And that is a lot of people I talk to. They're confused, don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. They don't want to waste money on something. So they just don't do it. It's that procrastination concept, if you're competing for attention in what you perceive to be a saturated market, I don't actually believe there is a saturated market anywhere. It's just, again, it's just mindset. It's just the way you think of who's out there. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well. If you run a business and wish to grow the business exponentially by attracting more clients into that business, and exponential business growth is only possible using the internet and social media. If you're already marketing but want to put the whole thing onto autopilot, and again, this is another key thing for growth, exponential growth, is putting everything that you possibly can in an automated process. So you only dip in when you're actually needed. And it's not that difficult. It sounds complicated, but it's actually not that difficult. And we do this every day for people. We train people how to do this themselves.
It saves people a lot of time, I suppose, as well, if you automate it once and you have to dip into it.
I mean, we talk a lot about, me and you talk a lot about automation. We're putting in automated services with you guys all the time. And it's purely because if you can automate a process, it just means that you don't have to do it. I know it sounds obviously simple like that, but that's the truth. You know, if you can put information in once and it can go into 2 or 3 different things, that means you don't have to put it in 2 or 3 different times. You only put it in once. And these are the sort of things that actually, with smaller businesses or entrepreneurial businesses, if you're on a business on your own, it can change everything about your business if you automate certain parts of it. And it's simple to do. But if you automate certain parts of it, it just means you don't have to do that anymore. It means it frees you up to go and do the job you're actually there for. See, most business owners they're good at what they do. So if, for instance, if you're a property sourcer, you're good at what you do. You'll be good at negotiation. You'll be good at sort of finding decent properties. You'll be good at talking to investors and helping them to decide what sort of properties that are going to be good for their investment portfolio. You're good at that sort of thing. It doesn't mean that you're going to be good at marketing.
Of course, yeah.
You don't learn it by osmosis. You know? You have to learn it. You have to understand it, learn it, and put it into practice. And so that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about. You know, if you want a simple to follow system that get it right from day one, and when I just want to pull on this one for a second, because when I say day one, I'm not talking about only talking to people who are just about to start a business. So let's talk to them about getting it right from day one. I'm talking about business owners that have been going for a few years and struggling to get leads in, struggling to nurture their prospects, and struggling to get sales. And that's almost all of the companies that come to us. You know, so if you're in a company that's been going for a long while and you're just struggling to get those leads, struggling to make those sales, then what we tend to do when we go in as a consultancy, we'll go in and we'll say, like, okay, you've got all these assets, you've got a website, you've got your social media platforms, things like that. Let's put them to one side for a second. Let's take you back to square one and start thinking about customer, product. You know, do they align? Are they good for each other? Have you got the right sort of people that you're talking to at the moment? And that is killer. If we get that right, and then just plug it straight back into the company, they may change their products, they may talk to different people, and they might talk to them in a different way. But that's the key to it. It's like getting back to day one and just sort of saying, look, let's do this. Let's get our fundamentals right. Let's get it done properly from day one. So
and sometimes, you know, as a business owner, Andy, you're so into the business and so into the everyday workings, and you're running at 100 miles an hour. You need to actually have a high level overview of that business to think about actually what do we need to change to make this work.
Absolutely. It's not easy, you know, but running a business isn't easy. Then putting your mind into doing marketing, you need some focus, you need some, a process, a way of doing something. Otherwise, it just gets overwhelming if you try and do it yourself all the time. I mean, I encourage people to learn about stuff and understand different products and services that they can use to increase their business. But you know, if that's all you're doing and you're actually prevaricating and not actually getting things done and not taking action, then you're wasting time. And this is really, you know, if you decided to stop wasting time and money, then this is going to be for you. So let's get into the meat and bones of it. And I want to talk about where you are in your journey right now. We spoke a little bit about people who are brand new to the business or starting a business. And when we talk about property people, these are people who, they could be a teacher or an engineer, and they've decided to get into property, might be doing some property training, and realize that the low-hanging fruit around them, if they go to networking meetings, for instance, you can always find an investor, you can find someone who can show you how to do rent to rent, or purchase lease options and things like that. You can find those sort of people in the networking that you're in, and you can find deals, and you can find JV partners and things like that. But at some point, they run out. The low-hanging fruit run out, and you've suddenly decided that I want to do this business, and now I need to talk to a much wider audience. I need to talk to people I don't know, and more importantly, they don't know me. And this is where marketing comes in. It's exactly the same as if you're selling shoes, or you work in a clothes shop, or like a boutique clothes shop. At some point, the people that walk past the street aren't buying anymore. You need to go out to a much wider audience. So you might have to take your business online and sell to the country, or even sell to the world. And that's the beauty of this. You can exponentially grow your business using social media and the internet. So it all depends where you are in your journey, whether you're just starting, or you've got a business and you've had a business for a while and you want to get it sorted. You don't want to struggle anymore with this stuff. So it's also a great time. The way things are right now, it's also a great time. And everybody's sort of saying about, I never have time. I'm busy doing this, busy doing that. This is the perfect time to start thinking about, your business, the way your products work, the customers you talk to, how you're talking to them, the language you're using, all those sort of things. It's time to reassess some of that stuff. We use this time wisely. And you may need a little shift in mindset. And if I do that tonight, I would have done my job very well. So let's go. So the very first thing let's look at the meat and the bones of all this. The very first thing I want to talk about is you need to understand your client better than they do themselves. And by that, I mean, customer profiling to me is probably the most important thing. If you don't get this right, if you don't understand your client and you don't create a profile of your customer, your ideal customer, then everything that you do from this point on will be skewed. It won't address the right issues. It won't be talking the right language. You won't be hitting the customer that you need straight between the eyes with who you are and what you can do. So custom profiling is absolutely critical from day one. So I don't care if you've been in business for a while, if you haven't got a good customer profile, then everything that you do won't be good enough. It won't quite hit the mark. We skewed, and you need to come back and you need to start thinking about this. So let's look at customer profiles. And I'll give you a quick example from my work experience. I come from the IT industry. I did quite a lot in the retail and wholesale markets in IT quite a few years ago. But one of the jobs I had after I'd gone through working at resellers and working at wholesalers and things like that, I got a job as a marketing manager at an antivirus company. And it was a big one of the big boys. And one of my jobs was to reassess our market, reassess the people we were selling to. And so my job was to do customer profiling. And I realized there was about 5 different types of clients, 5 different client types that were all completely different. And this was just on one product. This was on antivirus software. Now you imagine antivirus software is the same for everybody. And it actually is. It's the same product for everybody. They do the same amount of work for every type of client. But we had clients, and the range went from, Joe who lives in Surbiton, who needs to put antivirus software on his PC and his laptop, right up to IT directors of multi-billion-dollar corporate companies that needed 5,000 seat licenses. Mm-hmm. If you imagine those 2 people, they're buying basically the same product, but the way they buy things is completely different. So their purchasing cycle is completely different. The language you use to those 2 people is completely different. Their fears are completely different. The things that keep them up at night are completely different. You can imagine that an IT director in a big corporate, if they get a virus onto their system, that could mean billions in loss. So his fear or her fear is huge. They need to get it right, and they need to make sure they make the right decision with the right company. So the way we attracted those people was completely different to the way we attracted Joe in Surbiton. Different marketing processes, different language we use, different concepts, different packaging, different colored products. Just everything was so different. So just in that's where I learned customer profiling and the power of customer profiling. And you take this to any business, your business. The first thing that you need to do is you need to, if you've got targeting of the wrong people from day one, then you're screwed. If you haven't worked out exactly who your customer is, and this is simply getting an avatar together. This is using things like demographics. It's a posh word for who they are. So what's their name? How old are they? What salary do they have? You know, what job do they have? If you can put it down to something as direct as that, so this is just the demographics, put a face to a name and start talking to those people. Because if you're talking to the wrong person, then all the marketing you do in the world, you can spend thousands and thousands on marketing, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So we need to understand exactly who our client is. You then go on to things like psychographics. Well, psychographics is just what they do. What's their values? Who do they follow? What's their likes? What's their dislikes? So if you've got the demographics and psychographics, who they are and what they like, what they do, you know, you can start writing this down. So if you want to write who they are and think of a name of someone, think of how old they probably are, think of where they live if location is important to your customer. So if you're a cafe, it's obviously important that you put down location. But if you're selling UK wide, then put the UK, because it's important to understand exactly who these people are and start building up a picture. Now, I'll tell you why it's important in a second, because as I say, targeting the wrong people is really bad, but you can also do something else with a customer profile. Is you can start looking at your products. These are the biggest mistakes: targeting the wrong people and products that are not aligned to your audience need. Once we've actually created the demographics and psychographics of our clients, so in who they are and what they do, we can then look at their fears and think about what's their biggest fears right now that we can solve. What's the biggest fear? What keeps them up at night? And I know that a lot of my clients have fears of spending too much money, you know, getting the wrong products and all those sort of things. And we can help them with that. So if I know my customers' fears, it means I can help them better. I can help them with more targeted solutions. I can help them with, you know, just talking to them in a way they understand. And it's important to do that. But having products that are not aligned to the client is, I think, one of the biggest things that we can change within companies. So when we get a client come in and they say, we're having problems selling our products, the first thing we do is, who are they? We ask them who they're selling to, what's their customer profile they're selling to, and we look at the products and do they align? And you'd be amazed the amount of times that those products don't align. I don't know why. Well, I do. They haven't done a customer profile. They haven't thought about the client, and they haven't sort of created products that are perfect for their client. It's one of the reasons why we do things like these frameworks. Whenever I'd go out and do consultancy, I'd sit down with my clients and I run through these frameworks, and we look at demographics and psychographics. Psychographics is things like, you know, what social media sites do they frequent? Where do they go when they're online? And just one stupidly simple thing is, are you there? So if all your clients, I mean, let me give you another example. This IT director, you talk to him in a certain way, you've got a certain language you use to him. If your client is a surfer dude, you know, you're going to use completely different language. They're going to go on completely different social media platforms. Do you know where your clients actually hang out? Do you know what publications they read right now? Do you know what brands they follow? If you don't know these things, these are the things you've got to find out, because these are the things that are most important. For instance, if you're marketing on Facebook and every single one of your ideal clients is on Instagram and you're not there, and that's all psychographics is. It's just understanding what those people do, where they hang out, what's their values, what's their hobbies, that sort of thing. And that's what we use these. We use the product concept framework. So if you see the frameworks we've got on the screen here, we've got the ICP targeting framework, which is just ideal customer profile. We just pull out this thing about from your head. As I said, everything in marketing is about psychology, 80% psychology, 20% technology. And the psychology isn't just about your audience. It isn't just about finding out what makes your audience tick or what their hot buttons are. This is all about what's up in here. This can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And you need to pull out the right information. And all our frameworks do is pull out the right information so you understand exactly who your client is. And the amount of times that we've sat with our customers and they've gone, well, I didn't think it was that person. I didn't think that was the websites they were on. We never really thought about exactly who they were. We just knew we wanted to do Facebook marketing, that sort of thing. So it's really important to understand, where those people sit, what they do, where their eyeballs actually are at any one time. Because if you're not in front of them on the same platforms, then you're missing out hugely. So we then take that ICP targeting, that ideal customer profile targeting, we find out what their fears are, and we then translate those fears into solutions. What solutions can you actually provide those people with these fears? And as soon as you understand what the solutions are, you can start to think about, well, what can I put together? What can I create? And this is where the product alignment comes in. You can create products that are completely aligned to that person, that alleviate those fears, are solutions to the problems they're having. But more importantly, you can start thinking about, how can I entice them to my world? If I understand that they've got this problem, can I create something which is a solution which I can maybe give away? So this is the next thing we want to talk about, is reaching out and building a database of your ideal client. And the way we do this is by creating from our customer profiles, where we know what the fears are. We can create a solution to those fears and then create a giveaway, which we call a lead magnet. We can start building a list of our perfect clients. And, we've heard forever, it's a bit of an old cliche, like the money is in the list, but it's actually true. That's where the money is. If you can get a database of really good hot prospects, people who are interested in what you do, and then start offering those things in, then you will build a massive exponential business out of the back of that. The website needs to be able to offer something like what we call a lead magnet. It's just something that attracts. In fact, let's go through exactly what a lead magnet is so we understand this. A lead magnet is a customer-focused incentive that businesses can offer to prospects or potential buyers in exchange for their email address or other contact information. In other words, a lead. So if you've now created a lead magnet, an incentive, and I'm going to go through what you can actually do for that, but if you've created something which people are attracted to and they say, that solves my problem, that means that they will give you in exchange something which I still think is currency, which is their details. These are their personal details. This is their name, their email, their phone number. Now, this means that we can now engage with them in a much better way. So if you think about what a lead magnet can do, say, for instance, we've got something like this. This is the sort of thing we'd see maybe on a website. Now, what I've done is I've created a little booklet, which if I was a property sourcer, and I know a few property sources that we deal with, and this is the sort of thing that we'd be putting in for them as a lead magnet. This would be a simple guide for investors. Now, investors want to know more about who you are as a lead sourcer, as a property sourcer. What sort of business have you done in the past? What sort of properties do you go for? What are you best at? And that sort of thing. And you can put that into a little 3 or 4 page booklet, which is going to be a download. You don't have to print this or anything like that. You can just do it as a download. and you can stick a form onto your site, onto your website. Now, everybody who's got a WordPress site can stick a form onto their site. It's really, really simple. And if anybody fills this in for this giveaway, then you can get that information. It comes straight into your inbox, and you can email them back. You can attach the document to them and just send out the document. So what you've done is you've got someone's information, their first name, last name, and an email address, maybe even a phone number, and you've sent them something out. Well, that's engagement. That's building a list. You've actually got a new person who you can talk to on your email. You can then take that and put it into a spreadsheet. And so if you want to send people in the information, you just send it to anybody who's on that spreadsheet. It's really, really simple to do. It's a manual way of doing it, but it's a very simple thing to do. But what it's doing here from a psychological point of view is you have built something which is called a lead magnet. It is attracting the right sort of people because you've thought about it, because you've done you've got an ideal customer profile. You know exactly who you're talking to. You know that this is the sort of thing that they desperately need. They need to know. It's just they need to have a sort of guide, need to understand who you are and that sort of thing. So they'll download this, and you know that they're an investor because it's for investors. So it's completely targeted to exactly the right sort of person that you want on your database. And now you're starting to build a database, and people will go to your site if you go and talk at events, or you do exhibitions, or whatever way you go out, social media. You can drive everybody to just going to this and downloading your giveaway. It's very, very simple to do. So let's have a look at what sort of things you can do for things like lead magnets. I've got a few examples here, and these are the things that we go through again with our clients, because it's good to have a cheat sheet or a checklist. And this is exactly what it is, as a checklist. This is the sort of thing that you can give away as a checklist, but it's exactly what you've got on screen. So you can do things like quick start guides, how to use something. So if you're selling software or something, you can do a little how-to step-by-step guide on how to use the software. Now, you can either write that down, or you can even do a video of that. And people who want to use the software will give you their information, and they'll watch your video, or they'll download your guide and read it. Again, how-to guides, resource guides are really good. Now, actually, one of the things before I started talking to you this evening, Julie, I thought what would be a good idea is at some point maybe doing a resource guide for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is really just sort of saying, if you want to do this, try this software. If you want to do this, go to this website.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that lovely brochure you put together as a lead magnet. And, it might be the case, where do I go to produce that? Because it looks gorgeous. So I think a resource guide would be fantastic for little tips.
We'll definitely do something like that. You can do free trials, try before you buy, mini courses, free training, little video courses. We do quite a few of those. I mean, in the niche of self-awareness, or self-love and all that sort of thing, loving yourself first before you love everybody else. You can do things like email courses and mini courses, like 7 days to do something. So 7 days to learn meditation, learn one meditation process, and those sort of things go really, really well. Same things with sort of, diet stuff and all those sort of things, 7-day diets and just, or 7 days to get to somewhere. One little while ago was 7 days to build the perfect lead magnet, and it was just a giveaway. And it was just like, a new video every day with a new idea, a new concept, a new way of doing something. And it went down really well. And consequently, because of the people that went on to that, I knew they were interested. I knew they were interested in marketing and leads and all that sort of stuff. And then I could start talking about other things that we did. And a certain amount of those people went on to get other services from us. And that's really the whole point of it. It's giving something away that is going to be really, really useful, and I'm going to show you the sort of the psychology of that. But you can use cheat sheets and checklists, email scripts and headlines and things like that. And templates are really good. One of the things we do when we got a product called High Level, and we can actually create templates for specific niches, and we just give the template away to people. So, it's easy things like that, stuff that's easy to create, and this is really the sort of the least way of saying how to create a perfect lead magnet. It's got to solve a genuine and desperately needed problem. So the more desperate it is, the better it is really to put out there. You'll get more people doing it. Anybody who gets an eyeball on it will actually go and want to download it. You can't always get desperate, but you can get as close to desperate. What's their fears? Solve the fear. It's got to be fast to consume. So in the old days, we used to do things like, these 60-page ebooks, and the bigger it was, the more people would download it. Now, no one reads.
No.
What they want is something that's really, really quick and easy to absorb and implement. Something that's really simple but gets a result at the end of it. So it's got to be specific on what you have aimed to achieve for your prospect. So something that gets results for that person as quickly as possible. Because again, there's a psychological process going on here. It's I downloaded this from this person. It was really easy to do. I found it very easy to implement, and I got the result I wanted. Well, I'm more interested. I want to know more about those people. So you make it look and feel as high value as you possibly can, both in the use to the prospect, also in the design. Now, make it look professional. Don't forget, this is the first time someone may have got something from you or engaged with you in any way. And so you want to make it just look and feel as good as possible. And do your prospects want to get more from you? So if you've helped them to do something, it just makes them think, this person knows what they're talking about. I like what they do. Maybe I want some more. So that's really the whole point of a lead magnet. It's based on a customer profile, and it's got to be done for this lead generation program or campaign. So your lead magnet is dedicated to a specific profile to get a specific result for a specific person. And it's that person has got to be perfect for your bigger product, whatever that is. So whether you're a letting agent, as property sourcer, whatever you are, it's got to be, the lead magnet has got to be congruent with to find the perfect person for your bigger product. That's the whole point of getting them onto the list, so you can sell your bigger product to them. And then make sure the delivery method is simple and easy for your target audience. Now, what I've shown you before, where we're doing it manually, is a little difficult, but we're going to go on to how we can actually make that better. And when you get people on a list, and the biggest mistake I see is that people see the list as something they can just sell into. And we've seen people burn through lists so quickly because they just abuse them. And the way I try and teach people is to say, think of your list as your VIP club. They have given you their information, and that is currency as far as I'm concerned. And so we you need to give them the right sort of love, I guess, is the way to do this. So it's not just selling stuff into people, it's giving things like insight, support, information, inspiration, and encouragement to get where they want to be. And then every so often you can start putting in an offer. Now, we've looked at the manual way of doing it. Now, I think automation is the key to this. So again, we'll take this property sourcing manual that we've got, that we were giving away. So you could be a property sourcer and looking to generate investor leads. You want to build your list of investor leads. So the more people interested investing in the properties you source, the more people you can get onto your list, the better those deals will fly at the door. So if you've got 10 people on your list and you've got a few deals, then if those 10 people haven't got the money or don't have the inclination at that time, it's not going to be that great. But if you've got 1,000 people on your list, because you built that up over time, you put a deal out and it's going to go pretty quickly. One of those 1,000 people are going to want that deal. So that's really the whole point of it. And the more eyeballs you can get on it, the better. So the more people you've got in the list, the better. So you create an awesome lead magnet that will help prospect investors to basically show them that you're the right person for the job. They get to know, like, and trust you. They like the properties you do, and they understand your process, more importantly. So what you can do is you can stick yourself up a page on your site with a form. Now, this is where the automation comes in. This is where we've got things like autoresponders and things like that. And so you can use an autoresponder. You can put a form into the site and automate the whole process. So when someone puts their details into the form and click the submit button, or as I've got here, the instant access button. You can get instant access to this this property sourcing download. It will take them straight to a delivery page where they can then click on the download button and get the PDF document straight away. So it's straight away, it's implemented straight away. If you're doing this manually, the information will come into your inbox. Now, if that's on a Friday night and you've gone home, you won't be sending it out till Monday morning. They would have forgotten you by then. You stick the information out to them, they probably won't even read it. But if it's instant, they'll read it. And that's the whole point of it. Now, the next part of this automation process is that you can start nurturing your clients. You know, when you need 6 to 10 touches, you need 6 to 10 touches of a business before people start putting their hands in their pocket and buying things. It's sort of true, but you can make that much smaller by using the internet and social media. So if someone's got this product, that you've got them on the database, it basically means you can start talking to them, engaging with them. You know, you can send out an email, click on a link in the email, and it sends them out to a page on your site. And this could be some more information, some information about how properties can be sourced and things like that. But just something which is going to be really good for the investor, or how to invest, best ways. Great ways of finding money, how to finance deals and things like that. 3 or 4 days later, you can send another email out. Now, this isn't spamming. This is information that people have actually asked for. They actually want this sort of information. So just don't spam them. Just give them great information. Treat them like VIPs. And this can have a link in it that goes out to maybe, I don't know, a case study, something that you've worked with on someone, with someone else, and they've done a case study with it. 3 or 4 days later, you can send another email out, and this could be to a video showing you a property. So this is the sort of property sourcing. Show them around the property, and they start feeling like they've got some sort of bond for you. This is just a nurturing sequence. And then some time after that, you can send another email out, and it's got a little offer on a product or on a property. And if people want to buy it, they'll buy it, and they'll go to the order page and they'll give the money for the deal. So, and this works on every single type of business. This is just a sales funnel. This is just a very, very simple sales funnel that you can use marketing automation software or autoresponder software really simply. It's not that difficult to use, but it works so well. It basically means that you can set and forget this. You can walk away. You can go away on holiday and it still work. It'll work while you're sleeping at night. It'll work when you're too busy, out finding more property deals. Whatever you're doing, it works.
Andy, is there any particular autoresponder that you would recommend people to use or have a look at?
Yeah, I mean, we love things like Active Campaign because it's drag and drop. It's really simple to use. There's a few of them out there, but Active Campaign's really good. If you want to go up another notch, then you can use something like High Level, which is more of a sales CRM product, which is good for certain businesses. So, yeah, we can talk about different products that work, but any of these things, any of these autoresponders will do a basic job like this, and that's the beauty of it. So if you've already got one, you don't have to change it right now. If you need to do other things on top of that, you really do. We also need to engage with our target audience. So I just wanted to quickly go through the social media side of this. And this is just reiterating this whole point of the ideal customer profile. Where does your target audience hang out? Know that. Are you on those platforms? So this is the very first thing. If you do nothing else tonight, then just think about that. If you think about where your target audience hangs out, are you on those platforms? Are you talking and engaging on those platforms? Branding and profiles, are they up to scratch? This is my profile on LinkedIn. And if you notice, what I've done here is I've got a few things which may be different to what you've got. LinkedIn is a really good one for B2B, but it's also a good B2C product. It's a lot better than Facebook in some ways in that respect. But you can see at the top of here, I've got what I call my money message. This is how I make my money. I tell people that they can discover how to build a complete online marketing engine that drives targeted traffic, nurtures and converts. So that's what I do. That is really important. If you haven't got something like this on your LinkedIn profile, then do that at least. The next part of this is just in here, I see a lot of people say business owner at and things like that. Well, that's useless. This part here goes everywhere. If you comment on something, people see this part of it. So again, I say I help business owners, marketers build automated marketing systems to generate leads and sales. That's what I do. And that gets me business. But more importantly, there's a call to action on this as well. So let's talk. There's a little button there that says message, click on that to send me a message. And it's a call to action. So we've not only got a money message at the top, discover how to build a complete online marketing engine that drives targeted traffic, nurtures and converts. And under my name, wherever I go on LinkedIn, that follows me around. So if I comment on something, people see that, and I've got a call to action on there. And
Andy, do you need any particular different software to do that on LinkedIn, like that really nice headline and everything, or you can just do that on LinkedIn?
I use Canva for the top bit. I just use something like Canva. It's free. It's easy to use. Really, really simple to use. We use Canva for a lot of stuff. We use Canva for building even lead magnets as well. It's a really, really good graphics tool. But what I'm saying is it's brought me to the point where I've now got over 11,000 connections on LinkedIn. And I do a load of work and get loads of business out of LinkedIn because of it. It's really, really important. It's also important to use social throughout your funnel. Now, I want to talk about this in a little bit. People think about social media as something which drives traffic, and it does. Social media drives traffic to your business. That's fantastic. But drive people into groups. If you can build public and private groups, they are really quite good for doing quite a few things. It means that people see your content a lot more. Do things like live into groups. We do a ton of live stuff. I mean, this is going out live to YouTube, but we do loads of live Facebook stuff. And me and Julie are actually going to do some live Facebook stuff for a project that we've got coming up. And the reason why we do a lot of live stuff into things like Facebook and into Instagram and LinkedIn and all those sort of platforms in YouTube is because you get so much more reach than if you was just to put a video up. Now, I know that it's going to freak people out about doing live. You might have to sort of, I don't know, ramp yourself up to it. Maybe start small and then get bigger as you go. Because it can be a little daunting if you've never done it before. We do this all the time. As I say, I do sort of 3, 4, 5 lives every week into Facebook with different people, interviewing different people and doing panels and all that sort of stuff. Because I've realized one thing. The reach you get, and this is something which you've got to think about, the reach you get when you put a post onto your Facebook page or onto your Facebook group, for instance, if you put a video in there, you're going to get something like 7 to 10% reach. In other words, if you've got 100 people on your group or your page, 7 people will see it. I mean, it's really quite appalling because basically what Facebook wants to do is to charge you money to get eyeballs on your stuff. So they sort of restrict it through their algorithms. They're cheeky blighters, and I'm being polite. But if you do live, Facebook loves live stuff. And so what you'll do is you'll actually get something like 30 to 40% reach. Now that's massive. That's a massive difference. So we just changed our mindset. We just went from, instead of putting videos up, we just do lives. We do everything live nowadays. And guess what? You can become used to it. You can become not immune to it. You still get the adrenaline pumping through you a little bit, but it becomes a way of actually genuinely engaging with people. People can ask questions. They can, you can do so much with a live. And it really does make it a much better engagement platform. It just works so much better. Anyway, so we do a lot more lives. The other thing I wanted to talk about was using units in a group. Now, if people don't know what a unit is, have a look at some Facebook help on this. But a unit in a group means you can collate content for easy access. It's a bit like putting all one sort of video into a group, and you can direct people, either if it's an open group or a private group, to just that content. So you can do a little series of videos on how to do something, and you can put all that 3, 4, 5 series of videos into a unit, and then drive everybody into that unit. You can give that away even as a you know, a lead magnet and things like that. But groups are really quite good. It's also a great way of actually getting something like, you know, people want a membership site, for instance. What's a really good way of getting a membership site that is easy for everybody to access. So there's loads of things you can do there, and then just make it easy to do business with you. Automate and systemize as much as you possibly can. And I'm talking about payment specifically. One of the biggest key things that people really do stumble over quite a lot is being paid on site. Most companies that I deal with, when they first come to us, they're sending out invoices and they're wondering why people aren't paying their invoices. And so one of the things we say to is, look, if you sold something, put a payment on the site, and you can use something like PayPal or Stripe. We tend to use Stripe more because it's I think it's just a more of a solid product. You hear sort of horror stories of people getting banned from PayPal because they've sold something. You know, you hear Stripe's a lot. It's just a lot better solution, I think. So, you know, so if you've got a WordPress site, you can just put a plug-in. It's a really, really simple solution. It's easy to set up, and it's free. I say it's low cost. Stripe isn't. Stripe, I think, takes something like 3% of your deals, but it's a great way of actually taking things like credit cards online without going to the need of a big payment gateway. And so, you know, it works very, very well. The product that we use quite a lot is this one, Stripe Payments. It works really, really well. There's the URL on there. We'll stick that out after the event if you want to have a look at that. But that's a really good way of actually taking money there and then. So it really makes a massive difference to actually take that cash. Now, so these are the sort of 10 things that we've gone through. Targeting people who are perfect for business, absolutely essential. Generating leads consistently, that's what we have to do every single time. We can only do that if we've actually know who we're selling to, and we create that profile. Automate your online digital marketing so you never miss an opportunity, and it secures your leads, engagement, sales, and it puts everything on autopilot, which is critical for growth of business. Use social media to drive your business, increase leads, generations, engagements, and sales through that. Build reputation, authority, visibility, engagement. This is the nurturing process that we go through, and make it simple for people to pay you online. Get the money there and then, because otherwise, if you start sending out invoices, which I know a lot of businesses do, but just get them to pay online. It's so simple to do nowadays. And just get a little plug-in, you can put it on there, use Stripe. If you can't use Stripe, then you can use PayPal, but just get people to buy things online, and then upsell and cross-sell them. Current clients are the easiest to sell to because they know, like, and trust you already. I mean, when we go out to our clients and we've got, say, another product that we think would be perfect for them, people are quite happy to buy those things. See, people are happy to buy stuff. They just hate being sold to all the time, you know. So, you know, and to have a workable, coherent strategy, to work it out from day one and make it as easy as possible. So with this in mind, what we've done is what Julie's asked me to do, is to put together some training. And so if you can give me permission, I just want to go through this to see if this is what will help you to get from where you are right now to where you want to be. It's a very, very simple program, and I've been told to keep the price down as well. So but we're going to do a comprehensive 4-part webinar program. And the reason why we've done this, I've done this lots and lots of times, and this is the best way of doing it because it gives you space in between to go and try things out, implement things out, and we can come back and ask questions in the next webinar. If you've got any problems, any challenges, we can solve them. But so I've got webinar 1 where we're going to go through targeting people who are perfect for business. So I'm going to go through and show you exactly how to use customer profiling, how we've been doing it for years. It's a proven method. I'm going to show you how to use my targeting frameworks to pull out that information from you, and how to generate leads and sales consistently using lead magnets. So we're going to show you how to build, create, and implement lead magnets. And again, I'm going to do it the simplest way possible. So you actually get something done. You actually go out and build a lead magnet and get it up and running. In webinar 2, I'm going to go through how to automate your online digital marketing. so you never, ever miss an opportunity. And we're going to talk about putting leads, engagement, and sales on autopilot. So I'll show you a little bit about how that works. I'm going to show you exactly the tools you need, exactly how to put it together. I'm going to leave no stone unturned in webinar 2 on that. On the third webinar, we're going to go into social media and how to use social media to drive business, drive leads and get sales through your social media, how to increase your lead generation, how to build more leads, how to get more people onto your list, how to engage with those much better, and how to sell to people through social media. And we're also going to talk about building reputational authority, visibility, and engagement the easiest way possible. In webinar 4, we're going to go into simple ways for people to pay you online. I'm going to show you exactly how to implement things like Stripe, things like PayPal, and then also how to use those to upsell and cross-sell to clients. So that's really the whole of it. I just want to go through the modules, each one. So targeting perfect client, generating consistent leads. The real secret to digital marketing success is knowing exactly who your perfect client is and building your lead generation, your nurturing your products and services expressly for them. So don't try and please everybody. Just focus on your target audience. So in this module, I'm going to show you a proven process that will ensure you target the right people at the right time with the right product every single time. I'm also going to show you how to use that knowledge to create the perfect enticement to pull in leads. In other words, the perfect lead magnet, and leads, as you know, is the lifeblood of every business. In module 2, webinar 2, that we're going to be doing just automating a system. I'm going to show you how to use a very simple piece of software to just automate this whole process, automate the nurturing process, and even take people right through to buying product without even talking to them. Doesn't mean you don't have to. It just means that you can actually take people through from a lead to a sale completely automated, and you choose when you join in. You choose what part of that lead investment process that you actually start talking to your clients and when you're needed the most. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. In webinar 3, again, we're talking about social media and how to drive more leads and sales through social media. Again, really, really important. I've got some secret sauce in this, in my social media side, that I don't think you would have seen before, and I think it's going to really surprise you, but it's really, really good. But it will be different to what your competitors are doing. So that's a really important one. And then finally, just how to make sales online the easiest way you possibly can. And also how to drive cross and upsells. So we're going to go through something. Doing the cross and upsells is something I think which, again, it'll surprise you how much a difference that will make to the bottom line of your business. Because driving in leads into a business is more expensive than just selling to people that you've already working with. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'm also going to give away a lot of my frameworks. There's a few here, but we've got quite a few frameworks we use really to help you to get the information out the best way you can possibly do it. And again, this is what we do with our consultancy clients. And this changes businesses. This changes mindset completely. It's a fantastic way to get the information that's up in here actually on a piece of paper, which you can actually share with your team and people. If you're using a marketing company, these are the things that any marketing company will need to know. If you don't know them, they can't help you. It's really that simple. So we're going to give away quite a lot of our frameworks. We're also going to give away downloads of some of the sort of the books that we do. These are really targeted, focused little ebooks. They're just simple to run through. And I go through things like, the ultimate lead magnet matrix. So you find out exactly what the best lead magnets are. We how to create lead magnets the simplest way you possibly can, and how to use the free graphics tools to get really, really great professional results. These are the ways we make lead magnets. I made this lead magnet, which is basically what it is as a lead magnet. I made that in this same process. So I'm going to give away this and a few other ones that we don't normally give away. We normally sell all these to our clients. We've also got this, and I think this is the game changer as far as I'm concerned, because training's fantastic. Webinars are great. But what if you have a question? What if you have a challenge? I've been doing this sort of thing for a long, long time, and all the training that I've done, all the online training I've done, has always had an element of group support. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you lifetime access to the closed Facebook support group. Now, we'd normally charge something like £197 per year to become part of this. If you buy this tonight, if you come on board with us tonight, then we're going to give this away as a lifetime, so you're going to grandfather you into this. And this is, I think, is the secret to real genuine success on any training, is having this type of thing. So I've done this with a few other of our products, and the camaraderie in these things, and the way people help each other, and we're going to be putting loads of stuff in here. If you have a challenge, we'll do a video to show you how to overcome it. If it's that sort of thing, and it's going to be highly engaging. We're going to have a lot of people into this, and it's going to be really, really good. But this is the secret to real training. This is not just learning how to do something. This is, I've learned, I've understood that I've got a challenge here. Put it into this, we'll get you sorted out. We'll do live videos, we'll do whatever it needs to help you to get from where you are right now to where you want to be, because that's what the whole point of this is. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to do 4-week training program, which we normally do at 594, which I think is actually pretty reasonable. You've got access to all the modules, all the replays, which we're going to include in that. Access to all the bonus materials. That's all the downloads and the cheat sheets and the frameworks that we do. We actually sell these as a pack for £97. We're going to include that into this as well, and also lifetime access into that. I'll put a £197 value on that. We normally do those things every year, but I just put it into as a lifetime of 197. Which actually comes out to a price of £888. But we've got a launch tonight, and I'm going to do a special price on this for just £297 for all of this. So the 4-week training program, access to all the modules, access to all the bonus material, lifetime access into our closed Facebook group, which we really want to build up into a really good community. The whole point of doing this is we want to build a fantastic business community of like-minded individuals who just want to get on. They just want to get from day one. Even if you've been in business for a while, even if you've got websites and things like that, start bringing it back. Start learning this process properly. We'll have more time on our webinars, but we'll have more time within the closed Facebook group to really engage. And we're going to do some lives into that as well. So we'll do, little 10-minute, half-hour live things, solving problems, talking about things, answering questions and stuff like that, because that's what we do.
I think it's so important, Andy, as well, that that accountability and that community, because I've done loads of training before where you start it, you look at the webinars and you think, oh, I get that, and then you go and try and implement it and you think, oh, I don't get it, and there's nobody to ask questions to. So I think it's so important.
It's always been a big frustration. We've always put sort of group support stuff. When any of the training programs we've done in the past, we've always put group support into it, because I know that that's the secret sauce. That's the thing that's gonna that's the biggest value. So for me, I think is just that close Facebook group. Getting in there, finding out if you've got a query, a challenge, a problem, but also to put in some of your successes and talk to people about marketing. Just talking about it is where you learn. Implementing and talking. So the 4-week training program is really this is how you do this stuff. This is how your mindset should be. This is how you should be thinking about it. How you change into a marketer rather than just a business owner. You change into something that is, talking about copy, sales copy, understanding what that actually means and what it means to write sales copy, the secrets of writing sales copy. So it's all of those sort of things, and going into the close Facebook group is paramount to that. So it's so powerful. So that's what we got. So if you
Andy, I want to say as well, thanks for putting realistic values here as well, because you do see it sometimes where it's listed, don't you? And it's like the ebook, that's £1,000 normally. You can get it for £10.
It's great. I mean, this is why I'm talking about cutting through the noise. It's like being real. Our training programs going for anything from 5 to 997, you know, those sort of things, because that's what they are. You know, we need to sort of get moving on these things, and we need people who are actually dedicated to do this. But as I say, you know, access to all the replays, they're all included. The bonus material, again, we generally sell these packs for 97 £90 because they're valuable. But lifetime access, again, it's just a, you know, a couple of £100 a year access to something like this type of group. I think is very, very doable. But we're going to give it all away for this one launch price.